So there's much that we can discuss as it relates to lumbar stabilization exercises, and in particular, strengthening of the lumbar multifidus muscle, which is the main muscular mass of the lower back. And it's the muscle which really conveys the greatest amount of muscular-based stability to a patient who's lost segmental stability secondary to disc degeneration. What we'll touch upon in this video clip is a progression from quadruped to a number of the different Superman exercises, and then finally the rolling plank, which will give you a nice number of exercises to engage your patient in to get that person's lumbar multifidus stronger. In short, the first time your patient has lower backache, their lumbar multifidus is going to atrophy, and that's proven clinical research. Your patients with chronic discogenic back pain oftentimes will have fibrofatty infiltration in the lumbar multifidus. So the best we can do is find what level of strength building works for them without provoking any of their lower backache. So let's get started. We'll have the patient move carefully from a chair into a double kneel position and then into the quadruped position. Now there's a couple of things that need to happen in order to make this a pain-free exercise for our patient. First, we'll start with the alternating leg extension exercise. And I want you to note two things. The angle of my leg stays very low. I don't lift my leg upward, I slide my leg backward. And then each time I bring my leg back, I reload the ball with the front of my thigh. In other words, I don't stop here. I bring my thigh all the way back up into the ball. That's what helps keep the lumbar spine motionless and keeps the lumbar spine flat. We'll now move into the opposite arm and leg exercise. And notice the position of my upper extremity. Notice how my fingertips are barely off the ground. And what that's going to do for our patient is protect their shoulder girdle. We don't need to have our patients repetitively elevate their arm to a maximum height. That's not good for the cranial portion of their rotator cuff. So let's keep their shoulders safe by keeping their arms low. If the patient is successful with these first two quadruped exercises, we can then have the patient perform the first level Superman exercise. The first level Superman exercise is an assisted isometric. And what I mean by that is, if you note the position of my hands and my forearms, they're touching both the ball and my chest. And in so doing, I have a very low level contraction of my lumbar multifidus. So there's very little muscular-based compression on the posterior third of my motion segments. And believe it or not, for patients with advanced levels of degeneration, this is as far as they typically can go. They oftentimes cannot get to this second level Superman exercise. Now the maximum voluntary contraction of my multifidus really went up, and it went up a lot. So for your younger back pain patients, and for your back pain patients who don't have much arthritic change, usually they will tolerate this second level multifidus training just fine. If you want to further engage your patients in other activities, we call this the level 3 Superman exercise. You can add weights to make this the level 4 Superman exercise. And then we can do the stacked hand version. This is the level 5 procedure. And then grabbing onto weight would be the level 6. Finally, we've been having our patients strengthen their multifidus by holding their upper body over the top end of the ball. Okay? In order to give them something different to do and add a little bit of a balance challenge, let's add the rolling plank exercise. The rolling plank exercise looks something like this. We start with a ball placed on the front of our femurs. And I have a very strong bilateral glute muscle contraction going right now. And a strong abdominal pull. So I'm drawing my abdomen up and inward. Now I roll the ball into my abdomen. I'm able to relax my abdomen and squeeze my glute muscles together even more strongly. Now I emphasize pulling my abdomen up and in. Now I emphasize squeezing my glutes together. This is the abdominal emphasis portion. Again, a strong abdominal draw here. And this is the hip extensor or glute portion where I'm squeezing the butt muscles together very tightly. So again, this is one version of the rolling plank.